Hi everybody, this is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy. Welcome to lesson number 59. This is a review lesson. Let's begin by setting up the table. You'll need your top 160 sight word list, the sight word study method instruction sheet, the card pack of sight words, some blank index cards, a highlighter, markers, and some pencils. For the short vowel drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet, the keyword pictures, and the keyword sentence. For the phonemic awareness drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet and the colored tiles for the student. For the visual drill and auditory drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheets and the student's card pack. We'll do a syllable card drill in this lesson, so you'll have to cut that one out and have it all ready to go on the table. We'll have a magnetic letter tile drill, instruction sheets for reading and spelling, and to go with that is the cookie sheet with the letters spread in a rainbow shape, the syllable pounding instruction sheet, the new phoneme grapheme kinesthetic discovery sheet, and the sheets for the lesson, which include the scooping syllable sheet, the single word list, the short story, and the 3 sentences for the writing portion of the lesson. In addition to all of that, we'll have some sorts. We'll have a is it an open syllable sort, and that today that's one that they'll be able to read. And then we'll have the different sounds of Y, a sort for that one as well. And once again, they can read those words and then sort them. Finally, you might have a timer on the table, and you'll need that if you've introduced a fluency element to the lesson. If you're doing that, you'll need a secondary program such as Read Naturally or the 6-minute reading solution. Let's begin with the sight word study method. Student, you're going to need your card pack for this one. You will read through each of the cards and give yourself a check mark when you get one correct. You'll put that in the corner of the card. Teacher, you're ready with blocking strategies in case the student encounters difficulties. The student reads through all the cards, and then student, you're going to hand those cards to your teacher. Then it's your teacher's turn to read. Your teacher reads out each card, and student, you will write down each word. When you write a word correctly, give yourself a check mark in the other corner of the card. After that, have a quick discussion about which of those words has been mastered. When a word is mastered, it's removed from the card pack, and that leaves space so you can introduce a new sight word. If you're doing the short vowel drill still, then you can take out those keyword pictures and the keyword sentence, and if not, then you can just fast forward through this part of the lesson. You're going to take out your target shape, and you'll trace it with 2 fingers, saying the target keyword, apple, and then you'll underline it and say the sound. Do that as many times as your teacher deems necessary, then move on to the next target sounds, going through apple, Eddie, itchy, olive, and up. Then you will move on to the keyword sentence, and you'll read the sentence, stretching out the vowel sounds as you do it. Let's do the phonemic awareness drill. You'll need your colored tiles for this one. Your word is be, as in I will be there at 4. Take some colored tiles and build the word be. Okay, do you have 2 tiles down of different colors, a B and an E? If you do, that's right. Now find the E in B. Can you touch that one? Now change the E into an A. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get bay? If you did, that's right. Find the B in bay and change the B into a T. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get tay? If you did, that's right. Now, let's change the A sound into a short vowel sound, ah. Can you repeat that sound? Now tap it and say it. What's the new word that you'd have there? Did you say ta? And if you did, that's right. Just a nonsense word. Let's add a to the end of ta. Let's close it in. Okay, what's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get tam? If you did, that's right. Add a new one, call it p, and put it right at the end. And what's your new word? Did you get tamp? If you did, that's right. When you press down on something, you can tamp it down. Okay, let's add a Put the right after the t in tamp. And what's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get tramp? If you did, that's right. Great job. That's enough for now. You can put your tiles away. Let's do the visual drill. You're going to need your card pack for this one. The teacher flashes a card. And student, what are the 4 sounds that this one can make? Did you say id, ed, d, and t? If you did, you got all 4. Great job. Now, teacher, you can flash about 6 to 8 cards and then come back to me. Now let's do the auditory drill. Student, your sound is f. Can you repeat that sound? Now I'd like you to write down the symbols that match that sound. F. Say the sound again as you write them down. And then when you're finished, underline them and say the sound again. I wonder how many ways you know to write f. At the end, you'll do a check. So you might have written F can make f. And did you remember that PH can also make f? If you did, great job. You can do about 6 to 8 words in this way, teacher, and then come back to me. It's time for the syllable card drill. Your teacher has this one cut out and set up on the table for you. You will read down all the syllables in column number 1, and then read down all the syllables in column number 2, and then read across each row, making nonsense words as you go down. Finally, it's time to unscramble things to make real words. Remember that as you're doing this, you should be talking about the meanings of the different words and put some of them into sentences as well. Let's do some syllable pounding. To do this, you can stretch out your arm, and I'll tell you a word, and I'd like you to repeat the word. And when you repeat it, I'd like you to count the number of syllables that you're hearing, and you just shoot out one of your fingers for every syllable that you hear. A different method would be put your hand under your chin, and every time a vowel sound happens, your jaw drops, so you could just count the syllables that way. Okay, your syllable is sigh. How many are in sigh? Did you say 1? If you did, that's right. I just hear I and sigh. Okay, how about this? Silently. Did you say 3? If you did, that's right. Here's another one. Bow. How many in bow? Did you say 1? If you did, that's right. Try this one. Combo. That one has 2. Okay, take out your scooping syllables worksheet and your instruction sheet for how to scoop syllables. Teacher, you have the answer key and you can coach the child as needed. And your teacher will tell you if you have time to do all 3 words. Sometimes you wouldn't have time to do all of them. So do your scooping syllable worksheet and then come back to me. We've been talking about the difference between a closed syllable and an open syllable. Student, is this a closed syllable or an open syllable? Tap it and say it. This one is a closed syllable. What makes it closed? Can you have a quick discussion with your teacher about this? Well, when you have a consonant, one or more consonants, you could have more, that are at the end of the word, and they're closing in this one vowel, we call that a closed syllable. So a closed syllable has one vowel. The vowel is closed in by one or more consonants. And when that happens, then we're going to have this short sound of the vowel. So this will say I. So knowing these syllable types is really a way to know how to read the vowels. If we want to take this off, then we no longer have a closed syllable. What type of syllable do we have now? This one's an open syllable. In an open syllable, doesn't say the short sound. Can't do it. This says the long sound. So what would be this word? High. That's right. The word is high. Let's do a quick sort. And there's your teacher has this one cut out and ready on the table for you. And there's a yes pile and a no pile. And you're just going to sort. And you can actually read these words because they're all either open syllables or closed syllables. And you'll sort them. Is it an open syllable? Yes. Or is it an open syllable? No. So the closed syllable goes in the no pile. We've been talking about Y and the different sounds that Y can make. Can you tell your teacher the 4 sounds that Y can make? Did you say Y, I, and E? If you did, that's right. When Y is at the start of a word, this is where you'll find it in a closed syllable often. Okay. When it's at the start, it is not a vowel. What sound does it make when it's being a consonant? Did you say Y? Okay, that's correct. Now tap it and say it. What's the word? That word is yes. When Y is not at the start of the word, when it's in any other position in the word, it's going to act as a vowel. We can predict what type of sound the Y is going to make just based on where it is in the syllable. So here it is in the middle of the syllable. What sound will it make here? Tap it and say it. In this word, it's going to make the short I sound, I. So this word is sim. Happens in like symmetry, will be a word that uses it. And what happens when we have Y at the end of a 1-syllable word? What sound does it make then? It makes a long I sound. So what's that word? Tap it and say it. That word is sly. And then let's just make a 2-syllable word here. When Y is at the end of a 2-syllable word, it makes a different sound. I'm just going to separate this word into 2 syllables so you can see that it's 2 syllables quite easily. An open syllable here and an open syllable here. So tap the first syllable and read it. I, tie. And now the second. What sound is the Y making there? Did you say that the Y will make an E sound, a long E? If you did, that's right. So what's that word? That word is tiny. Right now your teacher has a sort all ready for you on the table. And you're going to read the word, and then you're going to sort it under the heading that's the correct heading. So is Y acting as a consonant? Is it making the short I sound, the long I sound, or the long E sound? Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for reading. You'll need your cookie sheet with your letters spread in a rainbow shape for this one. We're going to start with a 2-syllable word. Let's do the first syllable. Can you say the sound B? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Can you say the sound A? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Okay, think about what type of syllable is that. And then tap it and say it. Okay, that's syllable number 1. Here's syllable number 2. Can you say the sound B? Okay, find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And the last sound is E. Can you say that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Okay, now look at the word that you have and think about any spelling rules that are going to come into play. And tap the word and say the word. Did you get baby? If you did, that's right. And because there's 2 syllables in that word and we hear the long E sound at the end of that 2-syllable word, we're going to use Y to write baby. So it's B-A-B-Y. Now, I don't know how many B's you have, but if you had a third B in your pile there and you inserted it, so it was B-A-B-B-Y, then that double B is saying, hey, there's a closed syllable that's the first syllable. So you wouldn't read it as baby, you'd read it as babby. Okay, put those tiles away and let's try a new word. Okay, it's a 2-syllable word. Here's your first sound. Can you say O? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Can you say A? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Can you say D? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And the last sound is E. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Okay, so I said it was a two-syllable word, so you're going to have to divide it into the two syllables that you think there. Okay, and then tap it and say the whole word. Did you say lady? If you did, that's right. So the first syllable is L-A, and the second syllable is D-Y. If we had, well, actually, you tell me, how would we change this word from lady into laddie? How would we force that first A to be short? You'd have to double the D, so it would be L-A-D-D-Y. Teacher, if there's time, you could do another word in this way, and if not, then you can move on to the single word list, and then have the student read the short story. After that, if you've introduced a fluency element to the lesson, that's where you'll have it. And after all that, you can come back to me. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for spelling. You'll need the cookie sheet with the letters in a rainbow shape for this one. Student, your word is raven. Can you repeat that word? Now, how many syllables are there in the word raven? Did you say 2? If you did, that's right. So let's spell it syllable by syllable. What's the first sound that you hear in raven? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in raven? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now that's syllable 1, so you can tap it and say the first syllable. And now let's get the second syllable. So if that's ray, the next would be ven. So what's the first sound that you hear in ven? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in ven? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in ven? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now you've got your 2 syllables there. Let's put them together. Tap the whole word and read it. Raven. Did you spell it R-A-V-E-N? If you did, that's right. Okay, put those tiles away and get ready for your new word. Your word is cry. Can you repeat that word? I might say, I will cry at the end of a sad movie. Okay, what's the first sound that you hear in cry? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in cry? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in cry? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Did you spell it C-R-Y? If you did, that's right. When we hear that I sound at the end of a one-syllable word, we're going to write it with the Y. Great job. Now, could you take out a lined piece of paper and a pencil, and we're going to have you write down some single words, and I'd like you to tap them out first. So if I was doing that word cry, I'd say K-R-I, cry, and then I'd write it down. If you'd prefer, you could have done it this way, and you could trace the letter and say the sound K-R-I, cry. Okay, here's your word. Halo. Can you repeat that word? I might say the angel was wearing a halo. Okay, tap it and write it down. Did you spell it H-A-L-O? If you did, that's right. That's 2 open syllables, hay and low. Try this one. Happy. Can you repeat that word? I might say, I was very happy that you could spell halo. Okay, tap it, say the whole word, and then write it down. Think about what spelling rule is going to come into play. Did you spell it Happy? If you did, that's right. We had that base hap, and we want to add the Y to it, which will sound like E, two-syllable words, to get happy. And because Y is acting as a vowel, and we're adding it to this closed syllable, the 1-1-1 rule comes into place, so we'd have to double that P. Great job. Okay, teacher, if there's time, you could do some more single words, and if not, you can move on to having the student write the sentences. Teacher, you'll read out the 3 sentences, and the student will choose 2 that are going to be written. After the student writes a sentence, then the student checks the work with chops. We've been focusing on this concept of, is it an open syllable or is it a closed syllable? Student, can you tell your teacher, is this one an open syllable or a closed syllable? And tell them why. That one is a closed syllable. If I go like this, I've now turned it into an open syllable, so I've changed this the way the vowel sounds. What sound will the vowel make now? So how would you read that? You'd read it as tie. We've also been talking about the sounds of Y. Sorry. And there's 4 sounds that a Y can make. In this word, we have our open syllable that we were just talking about, tie, and then we're going to add an NY. So what would that word be? Can you tap it and say it? That would be tiny. When Y is at the end of a 2-syllable word, it makes a long E sound. When Y is at the end of a 1-syllable word, do you know what sound it makes then? Here's an example. Tap it and say it. It makes the long I sound at the end of a 1-syllable word. And what sound does it make when it's in the middle of a word? Like this. Or middle of a syllable, I should say. It makes a short I sound, so that would be sim. When Y is at the front of the word, is it acting as a consonant or a vowel? Well, when Y is at the front, that's the only time it's acting as a consonant. What sound does it make when Y is acting as a consonant, like it is here? The Y says y in this case, so that word is yes. Yes. Yes, you are correct. This is the end of the lesson. You did a great job today. This is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy.